Bruce James MDA is a cross-track compression system that gives you unified bus control across multiple tracks without ever forcing them into a subgroup or messing with your routing. Rather than summing your audio together, MDA uses a central brain to link individual tracks, giving you shared glue, auto-leveling and dynamic control while keeping every single track completely independent in your DAW. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to use MDA across two completely different mix sessions, a reggaeton track and an indie acoustic track, to shape transients, balance vocals, anchor your lead, and ultimately show you what I consider to be the single most groundbreaking mix bus workflow that this plugin unlocks. So first up, let's look at setting cohesion to 0% to get super fast, independent transient control across our drum kit. Now, you could technically insert individual compressors across 8 or 10 separate drum tracks to achieve this, but let's face it, nobody actually does that because dialing in every single plugin individually takes way too much time. With MDA, you can shape the snappiness and punch of your entire drum kit simultaneously while keeping every track compressing independently on its own signal. So to set this up, let's place MDA sends on our kick, snare, hi-hats and percussion, and let's set up an MDA sum on a blank track. So I've already set up my sends, and now I'm gonna set up cohesion to 0%, so each track's local detector triggers fast micro-level adjustments purely on its own signal. Next, let's pull down threshold and adjust the ratio so you can hear how the transients instantly become punchier, sharper and snappier with a shorter sustain. Now watch what happens when we adjust the transient lag control on the sum. By delaying the gain reduction by 10 to 30 milliseconds, we let those initial transients smack through completely uncompressed. Finally, let's engage the null test so we can audition only the transient difference, the process signal minus the dry signal, completely in isolation. Now, let's check out how to tame a dynamic vocal group using pure mode. I have several backing vocals in this track, and every now and then a few of them jump out a bit too much in the mix. Instead of spending time manually writing the faders or writing volume automation, we can use MDA to automatically clamp down only when an individual voice spikes above the group average. So to route this, place MDA sends across all your backing vocals and choir tracks, and then set your MDA sum instance to peer distribution mode. Notice how peer mode leaves the balanced vocal passages untouched, but automatically clamps down the moment an individual vocal jumps out louder than the rest of the group. In this section we have 3 backing vocals, and they're balanced enough, but in the next section the male ones kind of take over too much. So let's set up MDA to cohesion 0% so each track compresses only itself. And let's set up the threshold. I'll set up the high pass filter so that low frequencies don't trigger the compressor too much. Much better. Notice how there's barely any compression happening on this particular section. But then in the other section where the vocals are not so balanced, free is the male vocal. So much better. Moving over to our indie acoustic track, let's look at how MDA handles dynamic arrangements using density mode. This song is extremely dynamic. It starts sparse and delicate and then builds into massive, wide-open crescendos as full guitar and string layers stack up. We want to smooth out those aggressive peaks, but without squashing the natural intimacy of the quiet sections. For this setup, I placed MDA sends across all the tracks in my mix that carry relevant dynamic information, and now we're going to set the MDA sum instance to density mode. I'll now set up the compressor, but listen how the compression stays completely open and transparent during quiet, sparse verses, but automatically steepens its ratio as additional layers stack up in the chorus. So we're gonna start by setting the threshold. And cohesion to 0%. Barely any compression here. Here's a clever little trick to make your lead vocal sit perfectly inside an instrumental mix. First, let's set cohesion to 100% on the sum instance, so all the linked tracks share the same compression decision. Now, to feed the lead vocal into the brain, but without compressing the vocal itself, we're gonna place an MDA send on a dedicated pre-fader auxiliary send coming off of our lead vocal track, which I've done here. Now on the MDA send that's sitting on your instrumental bus, you're gonna set dry wet to 100%, but leave the to sum on about 50%. What this is gonna do is it's gonna glue the instrumental group nicely while giving the lead vocal primary influence over the overall compressor brain. Now, as I adjust the threshold, listen to how smoothly the instrumental group glues together on its own, and then it ducks ever so slightly whenever the lead vocal comes in to keep the singer anchored on top.
Oh no, stay outside, don't bring back that song. I'm not that girl anymore. Yeah, what's inside's nothing you used to know. It's only pain, stay low. Wow, look at the star, feeling alright.
Finally, let's head back to a reggaeton track to show you how to use MDA across the entire mix bus, and this is where things get truly revolutionary. What makes this so groundbreaking is that we can apply cohesive glue compression across the entire mix, while every single subgroup remains completely isolated. If you deliver stems for live playback, sync licensing, TV, or film, traditional mix bus compression breaks because bouncing individual stems bypasses the compressor. But with MDA, every stem gets its exact share of the overall mix compression. When you sum those exported stems back together, they sound 100% identical to your full master mix. To set this up, place MDA sends across all your main subgroups and link them to an MDA sum on a blank track. We're gonna set cohesion to 100%, set a slow attack, sync the release to tempo, and set distribution to adaptive. This dynamically scales the compression across each group, so the busiest sections don't overpower the rest of the mix.
Si tú supieras cuánto te he buscado, son muchas veces lo que yo he besado, porque yo ya te tengo acorralado. Dejemos los errores pa'l pasado, y si el mundo se acaba mañana, ¿qué importa si estamos cerquita del mar? Que con tu beso no me falta nada, ¿qué importa si ya no...
Now, as a final creative tweak, let's dial in our collapse control to add up to 4 dBs of fast, transient-only reduction on aggressive peaks. This lets the overall mix bloom back smoothly for subtle, transparent master glue without squashing your microdynamics.
Si tú supieras cuánto te he buscado, son muchas veces lo que yo he besado, porque yo ya te tengo acorralado. Dejemos los errores para el pasado. Y si el mundo se acaba mañana, ¿qué importa si estamos cerquita del mar? Que con tu beso no me falta nada. ¿Qué importa si ya no tenemos?
So whether you need fast transient control, intelligent vocal balancing, or maybe perfect stem-safe glue across your mix bus, Bruce James MDA gives you complete group control with total per-track flexibility. Head over to the website to try the full demo and test it out in your own session.